seen this before, and because, you know, different peace plans cannot work if the Europeans and Ukrainians do not agree to this. So that's why we focus today's discussions on what are we doing and what is our course of action. Like I said, we have a two-point plan. One is to pressure Russia, and today we discussed very intensively how to work on the shadow fleet, because we also had the head of intelligence, European intelligence, in our meeting, giving concrete examples and numbers how the sanctions on shadow fleet are really affecting Russian revenues to fund this war. And this is our approach, and that's why we focused on our approach. For any peace plan to work, it needs Ukrainians and Europeans to agree.
Thank you. Gentlemen.
Thank you so much, Alex Kadia for TVP World. I wanted to ask about the shadow fleet, first of all. When do you expect there will be concrete changes in the European powers' ability to actually impact these ships and actually make the difference you want to see? A second question on the Polish rail incident. You mentioned yesterday the example of Baltic Sentry, and you said we need something similar here. I didn't have a follow-up then, so I have a follow-up now. Could I ask you, are you planning a broader response to protect critical infrastructure like that Polish rail incident, which the Polish Foreign Minister just said was designed to injure, if not kill people? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. First of all, on your first question, we already have a huge impact by this shadow fleet sanctions on Russian oil revenues, and they are using the oil revenues to fund the war. I mean, today we had the head of intelligence really showing in numbers what kind of effect it has. I mean, I just bring you one number. When we started with the shadow fleet, the first week, the effect, the revenue from oil dropped via the Baltic Sea and the Black Sea 30%, and what we see, they are at the all-time lowest, but clearly we need to do more. It's not enough, but it clearly works. So I want to reiterate that. Now, on the protection and infrastructure, it's clear that, you know, infrastructure under the sea or the trains or you know, all the infrastructure that we have, you know, it requires a lot of effort to protect it along the way. So what are we doing? We are, of course, proposing new sanctions, but we also, you know, share the best practices how to tackle the online recruitment, because today we discussed also this. Who are those who are committing this? These are usually petty criminals that are bought off, you know, to do these sabotage acts on behalf of others, and you know, to really tackle that, and that is a national competence. But because some countries have more experience with that than the others, then to share the best practices and to really be vocal about this, that all these petty criminals cannot get away with this. You know, if there are, I will not bring you all the examples that I have in my mind to save time, but clearly we can tackle this if we go via the online recruitment and how they work with those people who are actually committing the crimes.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
Tatiana Vysotska, European Pravda, Ukraine. I want to come back to Ukraine. I know that today you were discussing the financing of Ukraine for the next 2 years, for 26-27. What is the main, the preferable for you option of financing of Ukraine? We know that there are 3 options according to the options paper presented by commissions. And what is the situation with the frozen assets? Will it be possible to use them, and what is the position of Belgium? Is it changing or is it the same? And if I may, the second one, 20th package of sanctions, when it will be ready, and maybe hope that it will be discussed by the leaders of the countries in December. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. We didn't discuss in depth the financing issue for Ukraine, although it was raised several times. And it is true that there is option paper on the table. Those countries that spoke for the financing also expressed their support for the reparations loan and also reiterated the urgency to move with that. So that is clearly the message that we got from that. 20th package of sanctions, we are working with that, but we also discussed whether we could be more, effective in doing steps on the way, not always concentrating on the big packages, but for example, on the shadow fleet. I mean, Russia is very creative together with our partners, and we need to be creative as well, which means that to be more agile and actually, put small things all the time on the table to tackle, which means that not the big package every time, but every time some vessels that have an effect on the Russian crude oil exports.
Julia. Julia Sarivan, Journal TV, Republic of Moldova. Moldova continues to be in danger as the Russian drone flew over its airspace and endangering our citizens. The same drone surveilled Romanian airspace. And also a note of protest was delivered to the Russian ambassador in Chisinau, but notes of protest doesn't help us and doesn't protect our citizens. So what European Union can do in this regard?
Thank you. Via the European Peace Facility, we are supporting Moldovan armed forces also to defend Moldova. So we are trying to do, in that regard, what we can do. Thank you.
Thank you. Andrew.
Thank you. Andrew Gray from Reuters. A question on Sudan. High Representative, you mentioned the thousands of deaths and immense suffering and said that today's decision to sanction one individual sent a strong signal the international community will come after those who are responsible. But is the international community, and specifically the EU, ready to go after those who are responsible for supplying the weapons that allows this suffering to happen? In particular, as you know, there are credible reports that the UAE is supplying the RSF group, which is responsible for the latest atrocities. Or is this a case of EU double standards where you will sanction countries that supply weapons to Russia, but not countries that supply weapons to an African militia which is accused of genocide?
Thank you. Very good question. So, yes, all the member states who spoke today also referred to